What's good, y'all? I'm back with another video for y'all today. Just got a fresh little haircut, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk to y'all about why everything in life is your fault. And I don't mean this in a derogatory way, but I feel like you need to hold yourself accountable to the action that you make on a daily basis. Through my experience, as I've started to reflect on some of the things that I've been able to not only attain but also achieve personally in terms of my goals and aspirations, is like, no one is coming to save you, number one. And number two, you have to hold yourself accountable and hold yourself to those high standards that you need to hold yourself to be able to attain those goals. Obviously, with you guys, depending on what kind of goals you guys have, make sure you have big, audacious goals. If you have very small, minor goals, minute goals, it's pointless. There was this one quote that Donald Trump said, and if you're gonna dream, you might as well dream big. How much does it cost for a dream? Absolutely nothing. It's free. So be able to put yourself in uncomfortable situations in order to grow, because there will be a point in time when there will be a situation or a circumstance that's arise, and if you're not prepared for it, you won't be able to capitalize on it. And you will literally look at yourself in the mirror and be like, fuck, I regret me not putting in the work beforehand to be able to not only achieve that goal, but also be able to do it with ease. And that's why I emphasize all the time, focus on who you need to become and reverse engineering on how that person walk, talk, act, and think. Those are the four main things: the way they walk, the way they talk, the way they act, the way they think. Character is everything. The way to make a lot of money is all through personal development. If you don't work on yourself day in and day out, you won't be able to have the life you always dreamt of. Whether it's staying up long nights, staying up long hours, getting up super early, doing the things that no one else wants to do, you have to do it. Because at the end of the day, nobody is coming to save you. Nobody wants that goal more than you do. Nobody wants that opportunity more than they do. Like, you just have to put the work in. You have to do the work that no one else is willing to do to have the circumstances that you want out of life. Honestly, no one's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save you. And that's why you have to take full accountability for the action that you have. The reason why people don't make a lot of money is because, number one, their standards. Their standards are super low for not only themselves, but also the life that they want to live. They may say they want to make a lot of money. They may say they want to have this car and X, Y, and Z and da-da-da-da-da. But if they don't walk, talk, act, and think as if that person that already has those things, they'll never have it. That's why your standards, you fall to the level of your standards. If you have super low standards, that's what you're willing to tolerate. You only get what you're willing to tolerate. If you're not willing to tolerate much, all the stuff that you don't tolerate will never be in existence, because you focus on the things that you do tolerate, right? If you focus on the things that you don't want in your life, it will start to manifest and you'll see it in your day-to-day life. I know I'm kind of going on a tangent right now. I'm just saying that you have to have high standards if you want to have a monumental life. That's all I'm saying. Because you always fall to the level of your expectation. Not only you hold it for yourself, but also your standards. That's first and foremost. And number two, think about it. People that are poor, quote unquote, are consistent. They're just consistent at the wrong things. Imagine if you are consistent at having the right habits, the right thoughts, being in alignment, and focusing on things that are going to be conducive to your success instead of things that are not conducive to your success, i.e. eating junk food, talking about things that aren't going to add any value to your life, hanging around losers, hanging around people that all they want to do is party and get drunk all the fucking time. Those people are not going to get you to where you want to go. That's why you have to put yourself in different environments and put yourself in uncomfortable situations to be able to put yourself in a different circumstance, to be able to not only grow yourself, but also be around people that not only inspire you, but also push you to achieve your goals. Iron sharpens iron. If you're around a bunch of fucking cotton balls, you're never going to get sharp. That's why the people you hang around is so important. It's so important. So like I said before, your standards is what you fall to. And also too, poor people, like I mentioned before, they're consistent at they're consistent at having bad habits. Now imagine if you were consistent at having good habits. You were a man of your word. You woke up when you said you were going to wake up. you did the things that you were supposed to do in that day, how good you would feel about yourself. And then that stuff, those little small things and those small details translate into other aspects of your life. Let's say you're running a business. If you know you wake up at 7:30 and you know you need to get things done, then you know that anything you do and anything you put your mind to, if you put a deadline on it, you know you're going to get the fuck up and do it, because you told yourself you're going to get up at a certain time. You told yourself you want to do this throughout the course of the day, and so on and so forth. That's why confidence comes from being competent, but also making the promises you make to yourself. A lot of the reasons why people look up to all these other people is that they wish they could aspire to be them when they could easily put in the work to be a version of them, or be the best version of themselves to be able to attain whatever they want in this life. And also comment down below if I'm going kind of all over the place, but I feel like I'm trying to structure these videos in a way that is easy for you guys to understand. And I know I'm continuously doing that day in and day out. But like I said, man, like, honestly, you fall to the level of your standards. And the reason why you're poor is because you're consistent at being poor. If you have high level habits, think of how a millionaire would think. Would they be eating that junk food? Would they be hanging around losers? Would they talk to themselves in a derogatory way? You have to reverse engineer everything, because if you don't take a full audit of your life, the audit will control you. All those bad habits will control you, and it will be hard for you to escape that continuous cycle that you don't want to be in. The earlier you can pick up on it, the sooner you will be able to live a life that you always dreamt of. You have to do the things that are uncomfortable. The reason why people are complacent is because they're comfortable. They are tolerating their circumstances because they're not willing to do what it takes to become that person, to get out of those standards and have higher ones, that have higher expectations of themselves. And that's why it's like, you have to always strive for more, but you also should be grateful in the process. Continuing to push yourself beyond those limits, because any of these little minute things that you go through in life, whether it's an experience, whether you're dealing with something with a friend, or whatever the case may be, all these little ways how you respond to these situations translate in other aspects of your life. For example, the reason why I work out and do the things that I do, I literally work out. Obviously having a nice physique comes with it, but most of it's for the mental aspect. The reason why I work out and I constantly push myself in the gym is because if I can push myself in the gym, I can push myself in business, and business will be way easier for me. If I'm doing hard shit in other avenues of my life, I can do hard shit and take those habits and characteristics and translate them into other aspects of my life. And so that way I have, basically you could say I have high attributes in each and every segment of my life. Look at life as like you're playing a My Career game, right? You start off, you're 60 overall in 2K, right? I'm sure most of you guys have played Madden, 2K, whatever the case may be. When you have a player, you start out as a 60 overall. Then as you continuously play the game, you start getting better and better. And then your jump shot goes up, then your layups go up, then your defense goes up, then your rebounding goes up. Take those elements of what you see in the video game and take those aspects and characteristics and do it in real life. So let's say, for example, you struggle at communicating. Well, you have YouTube, you have ChatGPT. Figure out different ways and different characteristics you can do in order for you to be a better communicator and be able to articulate yourself in a way that you can deliver a message in a clear, concise manner, and so that other people can understand what you're trying to say. I say this to say is that I'm telling you, everything you want in this world is possible. Everything you want in this life is possible. You just have to be willing to become that version of yourself that has it already. And one of the things that I also learned within the process of me being where I am today is the law of assumption. Act as if you already have everything you could possibly imagine. How would that person feel? How would they carry themselves? How would they talk to people? How would they think? How would they overcome certain situations and problems that arise in their life? How would they cope with them? How would they respond to those situations? Always ask yourself these questions and get a sheet of paper and write down who you want to become and what their characteristics are, and start becoming and embodying that person each and every day. And you'll be surprised at how fast you can really have the things you want in this life. It all starts with you. Universe, you inverse. You break the word universe up, it's you inverse. I know I'm saying like, oh, I'm not trying to be super biblical or anything like that, but the universe / God or whatever you may believe in is absolutely real. I do believe in a higher power, and there's going to be point in times where you will be tested. You will be tested upon your character. You'll be tested upon your resiliency, because these little nuances in your life are going to translate into not only the person you become, but also in other aspects, whether you're an entrepreneur or whether you're in the gym doing that last rep. All of these things layer on top of one another, and you have to hold yourself accountable. You hold yourself to those high standards, you will have a life that not only is fulfilling, but you also can reap the reward from, with monetary things, helping other people, and doing whatever you want, whenever you want, however you want it. You won't have anybody telling you what to do, because you're constantly working on yourself. You're constantly putting yourself in uncomfortable situations so that you don't have to have anybody tell you to get up at 7:30. You don't have to have anybody to tell you to do X, Y, and Z, because you hold yourself to those high standards, and it just becomes your default network, your default mode. It's just a preset. The life you want is on the other side of the work you haven't done. And that's it for today's video. Make sure y'all like, comment, and follow for more. And let me know what other topics y'all want me to talk about in the comment section. I know I've kind of been starting and doing this YouTube stuff, but at the same time, I kind of want to be able to provide as much value I can to you guys in a deliverable manner. So just let me know what y'all think I should talk about, and I'll kind of go into detail on it. So like I said, comment down below, let me know, and I'll see you on the next one.